Are zoo animals just monsters that we've captured? Could a regular man punch through a whole loaf of bread? All of these questions you can find the answer to on this Paranormal Life! Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to This Paranormal Life, the weekly comedy paranormal podcast, where every episode we investigate a brand new paranormal tale and come to a conclusion at the end as to whether or not it is truly paranormal. My name is Roy Powers, and I'm joined by my co-investigator, Kit Greer. How you doing, Kit?
I'm great. I bought a lot of bread this week. It's kind of the state of the nation that we're stockpiling, and I gotta be honest, bud, I wasn't best pleased to see that the sourdough, the pan loaf, the baguette, the croissant, they all had great big dents in them.
Look, it's important to me to know if there's going to be casualties when I go out onto the street looking for bread. Do you understand what I'm saying here?
No, not at all.
If I go out to, I don't know, a restaurant, let's say a restaurant, and I want bread, and everyone else has all the bread,
right.
I want to know if I start throwing punches, if I'm going to destroy the loaf I came to get.
Oh, so you actually want to preserve the bread, if anything.
Of course, yeah. You don't want bread with holes in it. That's called donuts, my friend. Welcome to This Paranormal Life. This week, we have a big case ahead of us. You know, usually we have a lot of user submissions sent into us at thisparanormallifepodcast@gmail.com. But this week I figured, you know what? It's been a while since I've led the investigation. So I went into the library in my mansion. I went into the weird cupboards that have all those dusty books covered in cobwebs. And I started, looking up newspaper clippings from the 1700s. I wanted to do this case myself. I wanted it to be a Rory, have the Rory Powers stamp of approval on it.
I hear you. That sounds pretty beautiful.
Now, one interesting thing that we've done so far, which you cannot see because this is an audio podcast. At the beginning of the show, I gave Kit a box.
That's right.
Now, inside that box is evidence, proof, that is indisputable proof that what we are dealing with today is suspicious. It's paranormal. Now, Kit doesn't know...
Indisputable that it's suspicious?
Kit doesn't know what's inside the box, and he's not going to know until we reach a point in the episode where it's time to reveal the proof.
You forget about it until next week. We've already said no at the end. Oh, shit, I forgot the silver bullet.
Oh, it was a hamster. It's definitely dead.
Yeah, I didn't know if I could mention the box, but I do have a small sort of rectangular box. Mm-hmm. I will say it's light. I'm not going to do the old Christmas Day shake in case it is a hamster, but it is very light, so I'm incredibly curious.
The truth isn't heavy, Kit. It's just heavy on the mind, heavy on the soul that bears it. But in real life, it's pretty much like the shit that astronauts eat. It's like air. It's like clouds.
Dehydrated.
Exactly. All right, look, we've dilly-dallied enough at the start of the episode. Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Today's story takes us to Bavaria, Germany, all the way back to 1773.
Wow.
When a man named Adam Weishaupt became professor of law at the University of Ingolstadt. Although he was a smart man, he was the only non-clerical professor at the school, which meant a lot of judgment and ridicule from his fellow, more religious workmates. Eventually, Weishaupt was like, all right, you guys. I'm a complex spiritual guy, too, I'm going to join the Freemasons, who at the time were a hugely popular order in Bavaria. However, after finding the organization restrictive and most importantly expensive, he decided it wasn't for him.
We've talked about it before. I don't know an awful lot about the Freemasons, but there's no homeless people in that organization.
No, they don't go like recruiting in like the slums.
Or even like university graduates. You got to be established. You got to have a little cash, a little power. Maybe you want to get a little more of both of those things.
Yeah, exactly. If you're like a little peasant man looking for enlightenment, absolutely not. Go to Christianity or one of the ones that it's pretty much open doors.
They'll take anyone they can get.
Yeah. Jesus isn't like shaking a bucket at the pearly gates. You don't have to like pay for a stamp to get in or anything like that.
And that's why the Freemasons is a much doper club. Because
Trust me, dog.
Jesus also doesn't have a Bugatti Veyron.
Yeah. Here's a little tip as well that me and Kid have been doing. We've been going to the Freemasons, and I get a stamp and go inside, but then I come out and lick my hand and put it on Kit's hand, and then we can both get in because it looks like we both.
These
got
guys
the
are
stamp.
stuck in the past. They don't even know what ink really is.
It's great. So on May 1st, 1776, Weishaupt decided to create his own society, one that would have the systems and ranks of the Freemasons, but with his own ideas and agendas. I love this idea. Taking the best of something, but tweaking it and making it even better.
It's just like it's like getting your favorite sandwich at the lunch place.
Yeah.
You take their meatball sub, their Reuben sandwich, and you tweak it.
Exactly.
Maybe you throw little pickles in there.
Get weird with it. Yeah, that's what Weishaupt is doing. His new order was called the Perfectibilists, or the Covenant of Perfectibility. He then recruited 4 more members to join the organization, all with their own aliases. Together they would be known as Ajax, Agathorn, Tiberius, and Erasmus Rotterdamus.
Whoa. Okay, so aliases, so we're not supposed to know their real identity?
No,
so
dude.
this is a secret order?
It is a secret order with badass names too. Weishaupt was known as Spartacus.
Wow.
Like, they all are pretty sweet names. I think maybe Erasmus Rotterdamus got thrown under the bus a little bit. Because some of the other ones are like, Ajax, Tiberius.
Yeah, Ajax, he's got that 4-letter flow. It's perfect. It's a great Twitter handle. But what did you say, Erasmus Rotterdamus?
He's the only one that has 2 names for some reason. And even one of them is longer than every other name. It's kind of like, being like, all right, it's first meeting of the secret order in session. I'm here, Spartacus, Beast Fists. You're here as well. Death Beam. Yep, he's here as well. Twinkle Toes McBubble Nips. Twinkle Toes McBubble Nips. And Kyle's like, I heard you. I just don't want the name. If it's our organization, why do I have to be Twinkle Toes McBubble Nips?
At worst, the 4th guy in the door. There's going to be a lot of more guys.
They can't get
someone
worse.
else can take that name.
And then Weishaupt is like, all right, just calm down, all right? Moving on to today's orders. Death Beam, you're going to be charged of admissions. I'm going to be master of finance. Twinkle Toes McBubble Nips, if you could just cook up a tasty snack for us all.
What? I'm the cook? I could be a cook not in the Perfectibilists or whatever the we're called.
All right, we'll change your name, Twinkle Toes McBubble Chef. Jesus Christ.
I mean, yeah, I would still want to be involved, obviously.
Only 2 years later would the organization change its name to the Order of the Illuminati.
No, what?
Yes, that's right, my friend.
The Perfectibilists, let's be honest, not a great name.
No.
Doesn't roll off the tongue. They hit a home run second time round. Oh my god, they knocked it out of the park.
It's like a computer programmer making LinkedIn and then on their second try making Facebook.
Yeah.
They absolutely just hammered it the second try.
It's like Coppola first directing Adam Sandler's Click before then going straight to The Godfather 2 or something.
Right, exactly.
It's like the two are so incongruous.
I will say Weishaupt apparently also seriously contemplated the name B Order.
B Order?
Yeah.
Like an order of
bees? I know. Who would order that?
Or is that just like, was that a perfect cover? It just takes all the heat off them, makes people think there's an A order they really got to worry about.
Well, it's spelled B-E-E. So I think it's very much the bees.
It's like
it's like a
movie, but it's
mind.
the order.
I'm really glad. This would have been a very different world if we were all worried about the B Order watching over us. The Illuminati continued to grow over the following years, gaining more members and influence. The organization's creed was to oppose religious influence, encourage enlightenment, and stop the abuse of state power. Which, I'm gonna say on the record, sounds fucking awesome.
It sounds pretty good right off the bat.
Illuminati, I feel like, has been kind of dragged through the mud a little bit in recent years. getting their names slapped onto all these horrible things.
Yeah, to say the least. But right now they don't sound a million miles away from like the Avengers. It's just like, we're gonna protect the public good. We're gonna look after everyone.
Exactly.
Fight evil.
Yeah, you know, it's not fair. And this is the problem, is they can't defend themselves. Because as soon as you come out and say, hey, I actually think you're being pretty mean to the Illuminati, someone's gonna be like, you're an Illuminati guy!
Yeah. Erasmus Rotterdamus himself?
Why is Erasmus Rotterdamus always in favor of the Illuminati? But here's the problem, kid. It's a secret society, alright? We don't know the full extent of what they were doing. What we do know is that as time passed, the organization changed, bringing in strange rituals, interest in alchemy, and most importantly, it recruited powerful benefactors. It wasn't long before the Illuminati had allegedly over 2,000 secret members, all across Bavaria, which was becoming a bit of a problem. You see, having so many influential, powerful members meant that the public believed the Illuminati were giving preferential treatment to their members. You get a parking ticket, don't worry about it. The police officer is a brother of the order, you know? There's a keep off the grass sign at the park. F that grass. The gardener's a brother. Stomp on it till your heart's content.
Gotcha. Except if all the members are like rich and powerful people, there probably isn't a gardener brother. That's why they got to spread the net a little wider.
That's true.
They got to have they got to have the guy who like runs the country, sure. But they also got to have a guy at their local Subway sandwich place who gets them free cookies.
Right. You got to let in some of the peasants.
Yeah. It's like you couldn't just start a club with all Hollywood movie stars, because like what the hell can they get you? Free movie tickets?
Yeah.
Maybe drive you around in their nice car. You need people in every section of society.
You need someone who just like works at a shop that can get you free meal deals. But he's like in the fake Illuminati. You don't actually tell them stuff. They're like, what are we going to do today, brothers? Can you just back off for a second? Go over there with the other brothers. And it's like a little group of just like, you know, peasants that have been brought in so they can get free stuff.
Yeah, your order of business today is get the rest of us snacks. How about that?
I do really like the idea of there being like a court case, you know, where someone's being put on trial for murder and the lawyer is like, I'm going to put the accused on the stand. It appears he's still wearing the clothes that he murdered them in last night. You can see the blood and scratches on his skin. When we arrested him and read him his rights, he admitted to the murder, even though we said, you don't have to do this right now. It's pretty much an open and shut case. And this like absolute psycho on the stand just looks over at the judge and like flashes a silver ring. And the judge is like, I don't know, that could be anyone's blood. You're safe with me, brother. What did you just say to him? You know, there's a fucking mic in front of your judge's box, right? That just went to the whole stand.
They're like, do you have anything to say for yourself? I'm so glad I joined the Illuminati. No, brother, you have to keep it quiet.
Keep it quiet. I find the defendant, Erasmus Rotterdamus, not guilty.
I mean, Jeff.
Now, all of this secrecy and public anger started to alarm the Duke of Bavaria, Charles Theodore. He started to worry that the secret societies, like the Illuminati, would eventually take power. And so, around 1784, the government banned all secret societies, which meant the end for the Illuminati.
Oh no.
Or was it? What if, kid, the organization once more slipped into the shadows, continuing to gain influence, gain members, and take control of this flat earth that we live on?
What are you saying today?
I warned Kit. I actually warned our whole apartment before we started that I'm going to get pretty fired up today, all right? There better be some dynamic control on this podcast, because I'm going to get very loud.
No, it's very like
quiet in quick succession.
It's like recording 101. You can't just yell like that and then start whispering.
What, sir? In 1790, 6 years after the Illuminati was disbanded, officials in Rome arrested a man named Count Alessandro Cagliostro.
He's in it. He's a count. And his name, what did you say his name was? Of course he's in the Illuminati.
Count Alessandro Cagliostro,
There's no way he's not in a secret society.
who was known to have, quote, revolutionary principles.
Ooh.
It turned out that the man's name was fake. And that he was actually Giuseppe Balsamo, an occultist and an alchemist.
The police are out of their minds if they take that second name as granted. You gotta get ID.
Someone whose second name is Giuseppe Balsamo, he's got a third name. You're not there. You
gotta
haven't found
keep
it
going.
yet.
You gotta keep digging. Fine, my name is Humbert Crumpleston. That's real. That one's real.
They questioned him about his personal life and his relationship with the Freemasons, which I know I said that they questioned him, but I'm assuming that they've got him like James Bond style, tied to a chair, you know, punching him across the face, like, tell us everything you know about the secret Freemason societies.
Of course. You know? Hey, if they're still waterboarding people today, what do you think they were doing back then?
Wine boarding. Probably.
Probably doing that thing, I think, from the James Bond movie where they hit him in the nutsack with a sack of rocks or something.
That's probably how they said hello in the olden days. Well, after a presumed beating, Giuseppe was like, "It is not the Freemasons that you should be asking about. It is the Order of the Illuminati. I met with two of their leaders 10 years ago. Their order has 20,000 lodges scattered through Europe and America.
Lodges?
They're in the courts. They're in the government, all being financed through the immense treasures of the order. It is them that you should worry about."
Whoa.
Spooky stuff. He went on to say that despite being allegedly disbanded around 1784, the Illuminati was involved in planning a great blow against the government of France. But of course, nothing to worry about if the Illuminati don't exist anymore. But then, in 1789, the French Revolution began! Is this the work of the Illuminati, Kit? In the shadows? Pulling the strings? Erasmus Rotterdamus on the front line? Singing red and black as he waves the French flag?
Reading the lyrics off his palm? He's getting sweaty out there. He's not a real revolutionary.
What do you think? Spooky stuff here.
Okay.
20,000 lodges?
So we went from 2,000 members to what? Only a few years later, 20,000 lodges?
Lodges all across Europe and America.
They went underground and somehow became bigger than the Beatles despite zero advertising.
If this is true, then this is insane. The fact that they have not only managed to convince the public that they've been disbanded, but also simultaneously be bigger than ever.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm kind of unclear on who they're recruiting because on the one hand, we're hearing that they are immensely powerful. They control potentially governments.
You would, yeah.
But then
you would be suspicious.
Because
I'm just going to say it, pal. You're not exactly prime material. You're not exactly what they're looking for. That's all I'll say.
That supposed to be a bad thing? Am I supposed to want to be in this puppet controlling, government controlling secret society?
Doesn't surprise me that you don't know how they're recruiting people.
Okay, so
you don't seem like the kind of guy that would be approached by.
You're the kind of guy they want.
Look, I may have got an email over the years, an evite.
Okay, you're admitting to a lot. So okay, well, what did they want? More. Okay, well,
I've sworn allegiance to my brothers, and I can say no more.
Okay, so you signed up.
I didn't say that I signed up. I didn't say that I signed up.
You said you swore allegiance
to
the
brothers. I have brothers.
I know you only have one brother in real life as well, so brothers is very telling.
I'm gonna get kicked out though for this. So please, let's just move on.
So you did join that. Let's just take that as granted. What did they want from you specifically?
Me?
You work in the video games industry, so like.
They wanted me actually to do a podcast about them and shine them in a pretty favorable light.
So this is the podcast.
Of course this is the podcast. And yeah, there's a whole paragraph in here about how they're actually pretty good guys and didn't actually do any of the bad stuff. Did I mention Erasmus Rotterdamus was 6 foot jacked?
Okay. He was around hundreds of years ago. I don't know why we're giving him PR. It's his great-great-grandson wants everyone to know how jacked he was.
In 1784, when the Illuminati was disbanded, history says that Adam Weishaupt was exiled from Bavaria to Gotha, where he would eventually die in 1820. But if the Illuminati really did have 20,000 lodges all over Europe and America, would the leader of an organization that huge really just disappear? This, my friends, is where the true story really begins. You see, Kit, so far we've been walking through the Museum of Time, enjoying ourselves. But what's that in the shadows of the Museum of Time? It's an old creepy janitor who's smoking cocaine, saying, "You wanna know what really happened, boy?"
Why does he have to be smoking coke?
Cause he's crazy. He's a maniac.
So what he's saying isn't true?
Well, no, he's just the only one. Well, he shouldn't be in the museum for a start. I don't know.
He's the only one not smoking crack around this museum.
What if instead of being disbanded in 1784, the Illuminati simply retreated to the shadows and relocated to another country, one that, like the organization, was also founded in 1776. One that wouldn't shut down a secret society because it was all about freedom. That's right, my friends. We're talking about the USA, soon to be known as the United Secrets of Adam.
Who's Adam?
Weishaupt.
Of course.
But there was a problem here, Kit. George Washington actually knew about the Illuminati. As a passionate Freemason, George Washington himself was warned about the Order of the Illuminati, who had taken over Freemason lodges in Bavaria, Scotland, and England.
So that's how they got 20,000. They just took them.
By the sounds of it, yeah. Just slapped a sticker over those Freemason lodges and just pirate-style hoarded the cabins. A letter sent to George Washington in 1798 by a man named J.W. Snyder included a book called Proofs of Conspiracy that warned of the threat of the Illuminati. Snyder said, "Dear President Washington, the Illuminati want to overturn all government and religion, to eradicate every idea of a supreme being, and distinguish man from beast by shape only."
Jesus.
Washington wrote back, "Dear Mr. Snyder, I don't believe that these revolutionary societies have infiltrated the Freemason lodges in the United States. However, I am certain that the doctrines of the Illuminati are already spreading through other means in America. I can feel it. The tides are changing, and every day the shadows of secrecy crawl closer to my person, and as president, I will not be defeated." I added that last part. The last couple sentences.
But, well, we only read a couple sentences, so how much of that is real?
The part about the shadows crawling closer to my person and as president.
That was pretty dramatic, yeah.
You see, it did. It kind of helped the story.
No, I'm not saying that's a good thing. You shouldn't have done that.
But the good side of this is that this conversation actually did happen. I have, and you can go see these letters, these correspondence that were written by George Washington in museums. I do have evidence here, but I've just realized we are both podcasting in separate rooms.
We are.
It's quite hard for me to show you this evidence.
Do you want to airdrop it to me?
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea, actually.
Okay, I've got the letter, what looks like the letter in front of me.
There
wow.
we go.
So this is, I'm just zooming in. Yeah, people in olden times had really good handwriting, so I can't read this. But,
it's incomprehensible.
But I'll take your word that it's evidence of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I did get a lot of the transcripts from these conversations from museum websites
of course.
That own the documents. But it is cool. If you had told me that George Washington, the first president of America, knew about the Illuminati, I would have obviously laughed in your face. That's a ridiculous thing to say. But it's hilarious that it is actually true as well.
Right. The Illuminati is one of these stories that's, it's become changed culturally into something else than what it was back in the day. Whenever people talk about it, they think of something different now, but we talk about it because it was real.
Yeah, exactly. But even with alleged secret members scattered across America and a belief system that's spreading faster than butter on toast, how do you take control of a country, Kit, that has a leader that stands against you? You take control of the leader. That's right, Kit. I want you to open up the box that I gave you at the start of the episode.
I don't know if I'm ready, guys. Okay, I've got the box here. This could blow this case wide open. Okay. So inside the box is a single dollar. What am I looking at here, Rory?
Well, Kit, you're looking at a regular $1 bill. And on that $1 bill, just like every other $1 bill, is a picture of a man. And that man is Adam Weishaupt, leader of the Illuminati.
But it says Washington, right?
Of course. Well, they're not going to write Adam, are they? They swapped him out. They swapped him out.
What are you saying?
The Illuminati killed George Washington and replaced him with the leader of their organization, Adam Weishaupt.
I thought these people didn't even believe in government.
They don't believe in government, but sometimes if you want to be the guys that don't believe in government, you have to become the government.
Listen, none of us like cleaning shit. None of us believe in cleaning shit. But if you become head janitor,
yeah,
you never have to clean shit ever again.
Exactly, and no one's gonna rat on you because you're the head janitor.
What the f*** are you talking about? Where is this coming from? What evidence do we have that George Washington was, murdered, did you say?
Murdered!
By the Illuminati and replaced with... And what did Adam look like? Did no one notice the difference?
I've got a side-by-side comparison of Adam Weishaupt and George Washington, and it's gonna blow your tiny little sheltered mind.
Wait, wasn't Adam German? Did no one notice the difference? Did he? I am so confused.
I'm just imagining one day the military are like, Mr. President, we need you to address the nation. And he kind of comes out across, on a big podium and leads into the speakers. It is I, George Washington. I just want to say how much I love this country, America.
Wow, he just has the most charismatic and powerful voice of any world leader.
I love the hot dog, the spicy dog. I love it. I cannot get enough.
What about apple pie, George?
Oh, the pie and the apples. Oh my goodness. I want to just eat them all the time while playing a game of basketball. Wait. Basket pass. Yes?
Standing ovation.
And applause.
This is why we left Britain.
Thank you very much. I love freedom. It was like rednecks with tears in their eyes. My God. That's the man I'll die for any day. He drives away in a Volkswagen.
Ford logo just falls off as he drives away.
All right, kid, I just sent you a side-by-side comparison.
What am I looking at?
George Washington and Adam Weishaupt. You might be confused, so I'll just let you know right now. That's a
I'm not confused because one says Adam Weishaupt underneath it. One's a $1 bill, so I'm pretty... Also, one is... The image that you said was already swapped out to be Adam. So... Am I looking
Correction,
at two Adams?
I've sent you two pictures of Adam Weishaupt. One is him on the $1 bill. Two is a picture of him from a book.
Okay, so people might get a little confused, but whenever Rory says a picture of Adam on the $1 bill, he's talking about George Washington on the $1 bill, just so you understand.
I'm talking about the portrait labeled
Right,
Washington.
labeled Washington.
Kit, if you need more proof to convince you...
And I do.
The proof is in your hands, friend.
It's the same image.
Flip over the dollar.
I just need to, before I flip over the dollar, if you'll allow me a second, before I flip over the dollar, I have to say, they're nothing alike. There's no similarity between those two images whatsoever.
What are you talking about, sir?
They're both old-timey gentlemen in black and white side profile looking at a camera.
Same hair, same nose,
gray hair.
Same jowls. They're
just like 50-year-old white men. Anyway, okay, I flipped over the dollar.
All right.
It's the side of the dollar. It says "In God We Trust." It's got some weird paranormal imagery.
Yeah, it does. It does. You're right. I want you to look over at the pyramid on the left side of the dollar bill.
Of course.
At the base of the pyramid, there's a series of Roman numerals that translate to 1776. When America signed the Declaration of Independence, sure, but that is also the exact year that the Illuminati was founded. Pretty convincing, huh?
It's a pretty cool little coincidence.
On top of the pyramid, we have the Eye of Providence, the all-seeing Illuminati eye, because they have 24-hour surveillance over the entire world.
Okay, I gotta stop you right there, because I feel like you're just injecting some of your thoughts about this eye. What makes... So there is an eye. Everyone's seen the eye. There's a pyramid.
It's literally called the Illuminati eye.
Right,
you all know what it is.
Why is it called the Illuminati eye? What does it have to do with the... Because so far the Illuminati is just a non-governmental organization. They're like the Freemasons. Why do they have an eye?
I will concede to this argument because... The original Illuminati symbol was actually an owl. It wasn't an eye. I think the Eye of Providence was mostly used more by Freemasons and Christianity to symbolize the eye, the omnipresent eye of God.
Yeah.
So sure, yeah, I didn't realize you were going to pick that one apart.
Because, the AKA, the Freemasons, the Christians, the organizations we know started the United States.
Oh, yeah.
In 1776.
I mean, a number of the founding fathers were Freemasons. It was like a big part of the foundations of America. So it makes sense that a lot of this imagery is, on the dollar. Why have you got me talking sense now?
And
you tricked me.
You said that their logo is an owl, whereas there's an eagle on this thing. So they had the opportunity. The copy guy came in one day. He was like, "Hey, I'm just drawing up the $1 bill here. You said you wanted a bird, some kind of bird." And the head of the Illuminati is sitting there at him with a little pin that says George Washington on it. And he's going, I did say I wanted a bird, didn't I? It's just not ringing a bell. Why would I have wanted a bird? The guy's like, I ain't got all day, pal. I can just throw like any old bird on there. Yes, any old bird will do, sure.
You did tell me in your inauguration, though, that you did want a bird, and if I ever asked you to not put a bird, it meant that I'd been killed and replaced by a clone from a shadow organization.
It does sound like something I would say.
But now you're saying you don't want the bird, you want an eye?
We definitely need the eye. Yes, I want the eye. I think it looks cool as hell. It, put whatever bird you want in there.
I'm just imagining that there's like a gunshot heard outside the room, and then like security runs in and be like, what's going on, Mr. President? And Adam is just like, oh, nothing. I was just finishing up the design of the $1 bill. It's going really great. And then the designer turns around. Yeah, it is going very good. Yes. They're just swapping everyone out one by one.
Oh, hey, you're the designer. I just talked to you in the hall. Yes, you did. Aren't you from Tennessee?
Another replacement. Kit, if you will look at the Latin surrounding the pyramid on the $1 bill, that Latin says, "He approves a new order of the ages." The order of the Illuminati.
No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say Illuminati.
It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that.
That was a little misleading what you just did.
Because Illuminati is...
You just did a whole run-on sentence.
Is Latin. The sentence says, he approves a new order of the ages.
I will say it's
the order of the Illuminati.
It's a little... no, it doesn't say that last bit. You're confusing the listeners. Because they don't have $1 at home. Because
of course.
They broke off their ass.
They gave it to us. $5 a month can get you a lot of good things.
In this life. I will admit, it's a little bit of a cryptic, kind of creepy thing to say.
Yeah.
Who's he?
Exactly. Well, I think, no, you're going to get me talking reason again, and I'm not going to go there. Because I don't need to talk in reason, all right?
Well, you should be, because
I'm an Irish American. I don't need to use reason at any point. I can just dig my heels in and refuse to budge.
But I would venture to guess, again with the eye here, that this is maybe some kind of religious reference. He approves God, the Abrahamic God of Christianity. He approves in a new order.
God, the Lord, Weishaupt, the top of the organization.
Okay, I will say they left it wide open because they could have said God. They didn't say God.
They said God.
He. So I'll give you that.
Exactly. Now, Kat, I want you to look at the other side of the dollar.
We already looked at the other side of the dollar.
No, the other side of the one side of the dollar. Look at the eagle. Look at the fucking eagle.
Sure. Chill, man. All right, I'm looking at the eagle.
He's got 13 stars above his head. 13 stripes in the shield in front of him, 13 arrows in his right claw, and 13 leaves on the branch in his left claw.
Gotcha.
13 demonstrates the power of the 13 American families that dominated politics. Washingtons, Solomons, Jeffersons. They were all powerful during the seal's creation, and each of these families allegedly contained members of the Illuminati.
Allegedly?
Yeah. As in
So we don't know?
As in they were probably pretty big into Freemasonry, which,
Yeah.
turns out the Illuminati have pretty much ganked all their lodges.
I don't know enough about early American history to prove you wrong on all this.
Good. That's really going to help me moving forward.
But I will say, as we move forward, it seems like a kind of a leap that you're saying allegedly, according to the people who believe in the Illuminati, allegedly the founding fathers of America were in the Illuminati.
Well, either in the Illuminati or involved in the Illuminati. I believe, I think it was Thomas Jefferson who is on record for saying that Adam Weishaupt actually had a lot of really good ideas.
Which is the first step to being in.
Which seems strange, especially if the founding father was like, we need to shut down this shady organization.
Yeah.
If 3 presidents later, Jefferson is like, I actually think he has some pretty good ideas. Maybe we should look at adopting this these methods and this new order. I mean, how often is it that we get a case like this, where not only is so much of it based in real life history, but I, the primary investigator, can even hand you a piece of physical evidence that ties this case together.
Well, it definitely pushes the boundary of what's considered like groundbreaking evidence if there are trillions of these pieces of evidence in every person's home around the world, in America and their places overseas.
I mean, that's what's ironic is, people all across America are like, oh, the Illuminati doesn't exist. I don't believe in the Illuminati. You're playing with their dollars. That's like saying you don't believe in Mr. Monopoly, and yet you have a house on Park Place.
You're passing, go and collect 200 of the guy's paper.
You're a little dog. And a cannon and a top hat.
You don't have to believe in them because you're in it.
This is their world, all right? You're in Disneyland spending Disney bucks on your little mundane life, while the mouse in the house is controlling us all.
That's right, Mickey, aka Adam.
Oh my! You don't think Walt Disney was in the Illuminati? Of course.
Is that based on anything?
He's a powerful man.
I think you're just picking people who are dead and who are powerful and who can't fight back to this accusation.
Rotterdammus Disney? Of course he was in there, the little bastard. Who'd you think drew the dollar?
It's all written in that kind of bubbly Disney style.
It's like, oh, look closer. The eagle is actually Steamboat Willie. All right, that's pretty much our entire story for this week's episode. That takes us up to the current day, where still, presently, the Illuminati run the country from the shadows.
Okay, sure.
Kit, what are your thoughts?
This concept of the Illuminati that you've painted for us today is pretty fascinating. It definitely, a number of years ago, it kind of spread like wildfire. It's kind of one of the internet's most beloved mysteries to this day. Mm-hmm. Do the Illuminati still exist? What did they do exactly back in the day? Are they still active? Because it's very tantalizing, especially in a world in which, like, geopolitiks, the way that the world is run, doesn't seem to benefit any normal person.
Of course, yeah.
Every lay person in the street these days, more and more as the years go by, has some kind of complaint about the way the world is run.
Yeah.
And everyone sort of has this idea of like, the fat cats, they're the ones benefiting out of all this, the way things are run. So you can definitely see how it's tempting to believe that this is the state of affairs, that a cabal of powerful billionaires throughout history has been pulling the strings at least and setting things up to benefit them. Except I think maybe a more realistic and maybe uglier truth is that
George Washington was killed and replaced.
No,
Doesn't get much uglier
that's
than that.
exactly your story, and that's actually a pretty salacious, exciting movie-style story. What I'm saying is that it could be that through some kind of complex web of unfolding events throughout the last few hundred years, yes, the world is set up to benefit a small minority of people, but not because they're necessarily in some cabal, but rather because those powerful individuals have been looking out for themselves for a very, very long time. It's definitely tempting whenever we see, you see these lists of former US presidents that were Freemason members.
Yeah.
And that's pretty mind-blowing when you see stuff like that. Or even just famous people, famous powerful people through history, famous lists of them that were Freemason members. But it's still a leap to go from that to an underground society of Illuminati members and say that they are one and the same people. In fact, it almost seems too obvious. If you were actually in an underground society, why would you publicly be in a slightly secret society?
Yeah, definitely. While researching this case, I learned a lot about not only the Freemasons, but the Illuminati as the organization that they truly were. Not the super secret global elites running the world, but this very Freemason-like order that existed in Germany at the time. And if you actually read the Wikipedia page and the history books on it, a lot of it is really boring because it wasn't just this table of masterminds controlling everything seamlessly. They went through years where it's like they were arguing about stuff. They changed things to be one way, then they change it all back. Someone wanted to do a ritual. He got kicked out. It was like they were just bumbling their way down the street. They didn't have this great big master plan.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem, is it would require way more cooperation and planning than humans have ever demonstrated in human history.
Oh, absolutely.
And not to mention the sheer numbers of people being thrown about here, the idea of 20,000 lodges with presumably hundreds of members per lodge.
Yeah.
How is that being kept a secret? This is like flat earth theory all over again. Like, if there is a small population that knows about this, the cat's getting out of the bag.
Pretty fast. I think if any large, shady organization does exist and does rule the world or controls these crazy events, it's not the Illuminati, at least in the form that existed in history. For sure. Now, technically speaking, the Illuminati did exist. So I think we
dare.
The question is, did the Illuminati exist? Is the Illuminati exist or not? I think I'll say I could say yes to that. What would you say in that situation?
I mean, is it paranormal?
I think we either come down on, is it paranormal or is it basically a conspiracy?
Okay, gotcha.
To both, I'm gonna say no.
Okay,
because it's neither. It's not paranormal, and this Illuminati, this organization that was founded in Germany, it is no longer running in this form.
Yeah, I guess that makes it a double no.
Yeah, I don't believe that they went to America, assassinated the president, and replaced him with not even someone who just looks like the president, but replaced him straight up with the leader of the organization.
Someone who's supposedly pretty, anyway, who's pretty well known.
Yeah, we're not going back into it. You can't go evidence to conclusion to evidence.
We go, I'm sorry. It just doesn't add up.
Did you see that? Did I give you the $1? I don't remember if I gave you the $1 yet or not. All right, look, in terms of whether or not the Illuminati assassinated and replaced George Washington, this week it is going to be a double no. Wow, what a case. Thank you so much for listening this week, guys. I wanted to throw a semi-educational one into the books because, we have some silly ones sometimes about witches and ghosts, but a lot of what we talked about today is based on history and came from the history books. So, kids, if you're out of school, there's your lesson for today.
Just don't say any of the shit you just heard when you go back to school because you will get expelled.
Yeah, and we'll get in a lot of trouble again, which we don't want to do either.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
I gotta say, after reading all of this and looking through all the pages, it does make me really want to start our own super secret society.
Okay.
Because, we got this Paranormal Life Secret Society. But I want to do a level above that. Like an even more exclusive one.
Okay.
What if
Is it still a Facebook group?
No, you gotta go darker than
Yeah,
that.
you can't have Zucks knowing about it.
Yeah, we need to be sending pigeons to each other. Or something.
Okay.
I think we should put a tier on the Patreon
Yeah.
that's like £1,000 a month,
Yeah.
right? And then that gets you automatic membership.
That's basically what the Illuminati was. £1,000 a month Patreon tier.
Yeah, because what we need to do is get our wealthiest listeners to all go in, like £1,000 a month. Boom.
Yeah.
Welcome Ajax. Welcome Erasmus Rotterdamus.
I'll learn a secret handshake for £1,000 a month.
And then with all that money, we'll just, I guess, either buy a ghost town or rent like a sweet London penthouse.
I like the second one.
Right?
It's got a lot more pizzazz to it.
Because it's kind of cool to be like, if we have like that top floor London penthouse, maybe with like the insignia on the front doors.
Yeah.
And if you're one of those members, like anytime you're like in London, you can just walk up and like get into the secret like penthouse.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's not even a floor for it in the elevator. You have to like push a combination and it'll go to like the 20th floor on a 19-floor building.
And it can't look like a swish apartment building on the outside. It has to look like a dumpster. The door will probably be a dumpster.
I love this. Guys, I don't know how many rich people listen to our podcast, but we are in. Email us at thisparanormallifepodcast@gmail.com for all of your podcast suggestions. And if you're interested in joining I guess we'll have to think of a cool name for it. If you're interested in joining the B Order. A buzz.
They dropped the ball not taking that one.
Usually in this part of the podcast, we would shout out to our Patreon and thank some people that have supported us, but we've got some real exciting news, and that is that Kit and I have released a brand new single with our band Team RKT.
That's right.
The track is available right now on Spotify and Apple Music, or you can keep in touch with us at Team RKT Band. But you don't even have to go far because you can hear the new track right now.
Hard to say goodbye, harder not to try. These regrets keep me lying awake at night. And when I close my eyes, I see us standing at the edge. I didn't mean to fall, I do it every call. And what was said keeps me lying awake at night. But we can say it all, even if it's just pretend. Today, gonna run away. I don't care if I have to go all night. This time it's too late, and I don't wanna make it hard for us to walk away. I don't wanna make it hard for us to walk away. I don't wanna make it, I don't wanna make it. Times, no regrets keep me lying awake at night. But when I close my eyes, I see that this is not the end. But now they're telling me to slow down, cause I've never known how. But I'm stopping outside your door, and you know I couldn't pretend I wanna be leaving, cause I'm waiting for something. Cause today, gonna run away. If I have to go all night, this time it's too late, and I don't wanna make it hard for us to walk away. And then we know it's time, when our past starts fading away.